What's the word, third? Man, let's get into this one right here. You already know, tap in for the show. Guess what? It's your boy. It is your boy. Oh boy, it's your boy. Tap on in. Let the games begin. Oh yeah. Show some love. Tap on in. Let the games begin. Coming right back at you. Oh boy. Enjoy. Hey man, shout out to the people for tapping on in. We are here with the business. Red Supreme in the building, y'all. Check it. I ain't gonna waste no time, man. I'm gonna dive right into the content. You already know. Illegal immigrants, they steal your benefits. Illegal immigrants, they steal your benefits.
On a Tuesday, as we continue our breaking coverage of this pivotal court hearing on federal use of tear gas, we are going to check in with Casey Cronus, who has a summary for us of the very latest developments from right outside Dirksen. Casey.
Hey, that's right. Right now, we are just waiting for Commander Gregory Bovino to exit the Dirksen Federal Building. I'll step out of the way here so you can take a look at the entrance. Right now, we are on Jackson. The attorneys for Gregory Bovino exited the courthouse a few minutes ago, and we can assume that he is not far behind, although, as you know, there are alternate exits and entrances to this building, for example, when they usher jury members in and out. So it is possible that he may use another exit. And actually, it looks like people are heading this way, but I have not seen Gregory Bovino myself, so I'm not sure if that was perhaps an attorney for him here. But we're going to head down there shortly and check that out. Let's send things back to you so we can pick up our camera here and head that way. I'm not sure why people were running that way because, again, I did not see Gregory myself, but we're going to head over there and check it out.
Casey Cronus, thank you very much. You can see a couple of other agents. Anita said there were 4 inside. It looks like the backup has been called there, some of them masked. I do know that there are 2 exits in that building. One of them is facing toward Clark Street. The other one faces east. And so perhaps Mr. Bovino is going to try to exit out the other way. And doing the math there, perhaps he's going to get a little backup so that he doesn't get swarmed by a crowd of protesters there. Let's send it inside to Anita Blanton to see what she is seeing from the bullpen. Anita?
Yeah, I just saw no less than 20 federal agents go by with helmets on, fully dressed. And that may be because of crowd control outside. I did not see Gregory Bovino amongst them. And I can tell you that as soon as he came off the stand today, he left. So let's go back out to Casey and find out what's going on outside.
Hey, Anita. Yeah, right now there is a kind of like a scuffle here happening. Just those agents that you mentioned are wearing helmets are being surrounded by some of the protesters and members of the media out here. Protesters right now are shouting ICE out. As you mentioned, Anita, I also have not seen Gregory Bovino here with my own eyes, but we can see those other federal agents. And so I think the idea here is that protesters feel Gregory Bovino must not be far behind. But as Anthony was starting to say, there are a couple of entrances and exits here. So it is very possible that Gregory Bovino himself does not exit this way. At the same time, he has been someone who has put himself in the spotlight, issuing videos on social media, walking outside of the Broadview ICE facility, so he hasn't shied away from cameras in the past. It is very possible then that he does want to come out, show his face in front of cameras and protesters here outside. Again, this sort of gathering here, this entrance being surrounded. Not seeing Bovino with our own eyes. Protesters now shouting, ICE, go home. There are also some counter protesters out here, but many more anti-ICE protesters than there are counter protesters. We'll send things back to you for now.
Casey, thank you very much. And to kind of reiterate what Paris was saying a short time ago.
ICE go home. ICE go home. So you hear that.
Welcome back. It is 12:33. We have some breaking news as we take a view from Sky Fox, which is over the Little Village neighborhood right now. A protest unfolding. We can see from this vantage point the crowd holding Mexican flags and signs. They are protesting the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration. And this is the same neighborhood. And perhaps this is no coincidence. This is happening right during the federal hearing of Customs and Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino, which just let out. That's the neighborhood where he himself appeared in that video.
Little Village is the Mexico of Chicago. It really is. You know, Little Village is just like, you know, East LA and Los Angeles. You know, that's their Mexico and Chicago, Little Village. That's why you got all the Mexican flags out there and everybody protesting, man. Listen, man.
Tear gas on a crowd as well.
Yeah, that happened over the weekend. Looks like there's a significant number of people there. We'll continue to monitor this protest, but we also want to kind of update you on what has transpired over the morning. The head of U.S. Border Patrol, Gregory Bovino, as Anthony stated, reported to federal court this morning here in Chicago. This is video of him arriving. Judge Sarah Ellis asked pointed questions about incidents where agents used tear gas on crowds like the one Friday in Old Irving Park that unfolded near a Halloween parade filled with children. Judge Ellis has ordered Bovino to report to her daily at 6 p.m. to detail any further use of force. This all stems from a temporary restraining order that was issued in a lawsuit filed by a group of journalists.
Yeah, there have been a couple of complaints, and we are joined this afternoon by law professor from Kent.
All right, so that's what's going on. Let's get into this right here, man. I got something else right here. We finna get into this content now. Hit the like button if you haven't already. You know what I'm saying, baby?
I went to a party, and a couple of black people have reached out to me to express things like, Ricardo, you know, I do believe you that the Latino, the Mexican, the Hispanic community, they do suffer from these things that you talk about. But I personally have a lot of Latino, Hispanic, Mexican friends, and they party with me, they love me, etc. But here's the thing. The things that I talk about or that I try to shed light on have nothing to do with the fact that you may have Mexican, Hispanic, Latino friends, a girlfriend, a wife, a baby mama, whatever. Nothing to do with that. It has to do with a lot of things that are normalized in Latin American countries. There's a lot of white supremacist ideologies, views, beliefs that have been normalized in Latin American countries. Ideologies that have resulted in most of us suffering from internalized racism, colorism, etc. Those are the things that I tend to shed light on because a lot of my people are not aware of these things. And the reason why they're not aware of it is because they have been normalized. However, here's the thing about your Mexican, Latino, Hispanic friends. It's not what they say when they're around you. It's what they say and how they feel about you when you're not around. For example, I believe I was around 19,
and
18
black
years
people should understand that by now, man. White people will smile with you, but that don't mean that they ain't calling you the N-word when you're not around. So shout out to him for being honest. I can respect his honesty, man.
years old, and I went to a party. And this party had nothing but Mexicans, white people, and a couple of Filipinos. And you want to know something? Everything was amazing. We were all getting along. And guess what happened next? I guess a black person was invited. And this black individual brought her friends over. As soon as they all walked in, everybody started getting uncomfortable. And one person in particular became very uncomfortable, to the point where she went to go sit on the sofa away from everybody else and just remained there until the party was over and all the black people left. And all that remained were a couple of white and Mexican people there. See, she was comfortable with the white people. She was comfortable with everybody else. But as soon as black people arrived, there was a problem. And if you're going to say, oh, Ricardo, that's one of the racist ones. Well, you want to know what's crazy? Her boyfriend was black. And you want to know how she behaved around her black boyfriend? Great. You want to know all the negative things that she had to say about black people when she was around her black boyfriend? None. You would assume that she's down for the cause. Oh, she's dating a brother. She loves us. You think so? Unfortunately, we live in a society where we think because a person of another race dates us, marries us, has children with us, that in itself is the evidence that that individual and their family are not racist towards us. The amount of black people that I've met that express to me things like, Ricardo, you know, I ended up marrying a Mexican woman, a Latina woman, and it wasn't until we had kids that I realized how racist her family were towards black people, even to the point where our child that came out looking black is not even welcome, is not wanted over there on that side of the family. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't get to realize this grim truth and reality.
I can respect his honesty, man, because we've been saying that, white men, think about this. You know how we understand that? White men slept with black women during slavery, but guess what? They still practice white supremacy. They just wanted some of that chocolate poutine. Just because a white man sleeps with you doesn't mean that he likes you. You would think that slavery has taught people that, but what they have said, man, slavery was a long time ago. Fool. Slavery shaped the mind. Slavery has shaped the minds of people in this country. I don't care that it was 100 something years ago. Slavery got abolished in 1865. That doesn't matter. White people have indoctrinated the minds of Americans and people globally. So you got to look at it. You got to look at that the same. The white man slept with black women during slavery, but he still hated black people. He still practiced racism. Didn't matter how many black women that slave master slept with. He still hated black people. He just wanted to exploit. He just wanted to exploit black women sexually. Had nothing to do with him liking black people. He just wanted some of that cat. He just wanted some of that box. Don't mean that white man likes black people. Y'all crazy. And guess what? The same rules apply today. There's a lot of men out there that will sleep with black women, but don't necessarily like black people. Matter of fact, they have a lot of hatred for black people, but they still want to sleep with that black woman.
Until they end up having children with that Latina, that Mexican, that Hispanic. I've said this before in many videos, but I'll say it again. And I'll probably keep saying it over and over again. In Latin American countries, we have something called mejorar la raza. That means improve the race. And if you do not study what this means and how much it affects our psyche, the way we view things, you will never understand why people from Latin American countries suffer from this and to what degree. There's a reason why it's normalized for Hispanics, Latinos, Mexicans.
It ain't just Mexicans, bro. Listen, homie, this is in Latin America. I don't care what country you go to. If the Spaniards colonized that, a lot of them been indoctrinated with that anti-black mindset. This is Puerto Rico, Cuba, Venezuela. If the people speak Spanish in that country, they've been indoctrinated by the conquistadors, the Spaniards. And we already know how racist the conquistadors, the Spaniards were. So no, it ain't just Mexicans. This is Latino culture in general. Viva la raza, better the race. And when they say better up the race, what they're saying is have a baby with a white person to lighten up the skin tone so that we can flush that blackness out of our bloodline. That's what they mean when they say Viva la raza. better the race, get rid of that black gene. It ain't just Mexicans.
Mexicans to be perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, encourage our sons and daughters to go find themselves a white person to marry and have children with. Meanwhile, it's very normal. Our psyche, the way we view things. You will never understand why people from Latin American countries suffer from this and to what degree. There's a reason why it's normalized for Hispanics, Latinos, Mexicans to be perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, encourage our sons and daughters to go find themselves a white person to marry and have children with. Meanwhile, it's very normalized for us to discourage our sons and daughters to avoid at all costs to get with the black person to marry and have children with. That in itself is part of mejorando la raza. And you have to understand what this means and how much it affects us. And I'll share this one last piece with you. I had this one black guest come up on my platform, on my live streams, and he shared a story with me, an experience rather. And he said, Ricardo, me as a black man, I had a child with a Salvadorian woman. And meanwhile, I was dating her, everything was fine. But as soon as she got pregnant and she brought me over to meet her mother just disliked me from the get-go. And then our son was born, and none of her family want us around. They don't want to meet my son, etc. And then he asked me, Ricardo, you as a Hispanic, what am I doing wrong? Why don't they like me? What would you recommend that I do? Or what can I do so they could like me? And I said, don't be black. They are pissed off because their daughter downgraded by having a child with a black person. And now a new member of their family is black with bad hair. And if you're looking at me and thinking, Ricardo, what are you talking about? That is part of mejorando la raza. And I need you to understand what this means and how deep it affects us. So you could understand why Latinos believe that upgrading is to get with white people and have children with white people and avoid at all costs to get with black people and to avoid having children with black people. Mejorando la raza is a very real thing. And unfortunately, a lot of people in Latino countries will deny that this is a real thing. And
They will deny it. That's one thing that they will do. They'll deny that till their face turn blue. But we know it's true because if you've been around enough of these Latins, you know that they deep down inside, they don't like black people like that. That's a part of their culture. They've been indoctrinated to feel that way. They've been indoctrinated with anti-black racism. I don't care if you go to Cuba, Venezuela, Mexico, El Salvador. If the Spanish conquistadors colonized that country, they've been indoctrinated with that anti-black mindset. That's just the reality, man. That's what it is. You know, they all say that. Raza, lighten up the race, eliminate the black gene. We don't want your hair to be nappy.
unfortunately, the reason why it's not solved is because when people like myself try to expose and address it, the rest of the Latin community, they get angry. Ricardo, why are you making us look bad? Making us look bad? And that's the problem. Why are you making us look bad? And I'm thinking, making us look bad? You are more concerned about our image than actually solving these issues that ruin us. An example, I had a Dominican guy come up on my platform one time. He said to me, Ricardo, you've made a couple of videos that have gone viral about Dominicans, about how we don't like being black, etc. And you want to know something? You're not wrong. But you want to know what I'm experiencing myself as a Dominican living in the Bronx? I have a barber shop, and I've been losing a lot of clients that are black American because it's trending right now that Dominicans hate being black, don't want to associate with black, etc. And I feel, Ricardo, like you're one of those people that are making us look bad. You see, the concern here was not the anti-blackness. Nah, the concern here is I'm losing customers at my barbershop. And that is why we can't solve these issues, because you're making us look bad. Oh, I'm losing clients. Because you're exposing what we're suffering from. And that in itself is a great example as to why we as Latinos, we can't solve these issues. Because our problem is not the anti-blackness, the anti-indigeneity in our practices. That's not the problem. The problem is you're making us look bad, Ricardo.
Ricardo just telling the truth, man. He just telling the truth. He just telling the truth about the culture. That's all.
You know, I was born in Mexico, but when I first came to this country, literally the people that I was warned against or warned from was black people from the get-go. Before I even learned
Now,
to
the
speak.
dude at the bottom is Dominican. He's Dominican. You can tell that he's black, but he's a Dominican. Then, you know, Ricardo is a Mexican. Shout out to Ricardo, because one thing about Ricardo is he keeps it real and he don't sugarcoat it. He said, you guys are more worried about your image more so than the anti-black racism that comes from our culture. We're just worried about see, their main thing is they don't want people to know about it, but the cat is out of the bag, man. We already know this. Ricardo saying this is just more confirmation, but we already knew this. But I got respect for Ricardo because he's real enough to be honest. He's real enough to say, hey, man, this is how our people really feel. And we've been indoctrinated to feel this way. Most Latinos will never admit that. Some of them will, but a small percentage, only a small percentage will admit only a small percentage is going to admit that. Most of them will pretend like, no, that's not true. We don't hate black people. We're not racist, right? They're going to gaslight you. That's what they're going to say. But in reality, we know what it is. If you've been around Latinos long enough, you know this is how they really feel. And it ain't no secret by now. We already know. This secret got exposed a long time ago. Ain't nobody, man, let's continue.
English. I was told to be careful with black people. Don't hang around them. They'll beat you up. They'll do this. They'll steal from you. All of the warned against or warned from was black people from the get-go. Before I even learned to speak English, I was told to be careful with black people. Don't hang around them. They'll beat you up. They'll do this. They'll steal from you. All of the negative things that you could attach to a people. That's the first thing they told me when I came to this country is be careful with black people. It wasn't be careful with white folks. It wasn't be careful with the Asians. Nobody. Just be careful with the black people. So I'll tell you something, and I'm going to be careful because I just got a warning. It says this video has been restricted to only people that are 18 and up. So,
and why would they restrict this video? This dude ain't said nothing wrong. And he said he already got a warning about a restriction because they don't want you telling the truth. You notice that they're always trying to silence the truth. Ricardo ain't said nothing wrong. He's not spreading hatred. He's just being honest about the culture, right? You know, when I'm honest, what do YouTube do? They shadow ban the channel. They shadow ban the videos, or they put an age restriction on it. Clearly, this dude ain't said nothing wrong. All he did was admit. All he did was, I can't even say expose the truth, because if you grew up in Los Angeles, you already know how they feel. If you grew up in New York, or if you grew up in the city around these people, you know this is how they really feel, right? I would say shout out to Ricardo for being honest about it. But in reality, this situation got exposed a long time ago. The thing about it is most Latinos won't be honest about it. Very few of them will.
Oh. Yeah, I just got a warning. So let me be careful with how I'm wording things. When I was 10 years old, I had a little blade in my pocket. I carried it around at 10. You know what it is. And when I was coming from school, I used to ride my bike to school and from school. And one day when I was coming home, my mom was at work, and I was going to come home alone, as I always did. So as I went inside of the gate and was going to lock my bike in the front, a black kid came around. He's probably like 11 or 12. And he asked to borrow my bike. As soon as he asked to borrow my bike, I immediately knew that he was trying to steal it. Although it's possible that that's not the case, but I knew. I was 100% sure. There you go. I was 100% sure that this black kid is going to want to steal my bike. I knew this. I knew it because I was educated to be careful with these people. So when he asked for the bike, I said, "What'd you need the bike for?" My mom sent me to go grocery shopping, and it's too far. I don't really want to walk. And I said, "Well, I'm not allowed to let nobody borrow my bike, though." Now, I will be completely honest. If it would have been a white kid that asked me for my bike, I would have let him borrow it. But I didn't let him borrow it because it was a black kid. Because I know what it is with these people. You know? So when he asked again, "Please let me borrow it, please. I'll bring it right back." I reached in my pocket and grabbed my blade.
Hey, man.
To me, he was working his way to snatching it. Because if I keep saying no, he's going to say, "Well, then I'm going to take it." Although this is not necessarily so. But I knew that this was so because he's black.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So I was sweating bullets. Literally, my palms were sweating because I was about to pull this thing.
Go, man, for the super chat. Let's get some of you brothers to bless the show, support the Cash App, support this good work that we've been doing over here, man.
Out and start the shaking, right? And I was scared to do it, but I knew I was going to because he ain't stealing my bike.
And you were 10.
I was 10 years old, right? So
you were more dangerous than he was, but you were thinking that he was the dangerous one.
There you go. There you go. Thank you for saying that. It's the truth. I was a 10-year-old kid with a switchblade in my pocket, ready to shank. Ready to shank.
But you thought he was the danger.
But because he's black, he's dangerous by default, right? So I'm so grateful that when I said, "No, my mom's going to come out and she's going to yell at you if you don't run." So, okay, I'm just going to go then. Now, of course, in retrospect, I'm like, man, look at what happened to us, right? Look how bad black people have been demonized. So much so that a kid that I see every day, because he lives in my neighborhood, man, that I see every day, he lives right there. I didn't let him borrow it. He comes around and plays soccer with us and plays all kinds of stuff with us. And all of these friends that I played with, they could have asked me for my bike and I would have let him borrow it, just not him, because he's a black kid. As I was telling somebody else the other day on here, when I was 17 years old and I was in high school, and the first time that I caught a black girl like eyeing me because she was checking me out, and she came and sat by me in art class and started, trying to get at me, and I caught myself checking her out, the first thing I thought was, how am I going to tell my mom that I'm dating a black? Would I have said this if it was a white girl? Absolutely not. Because I already had white girlfriends that my mom met. She was so happy, right? But the first thing that came to my mind when I caught myself checking out this black girl that was trying to get at me, the first thing I thought was, what is my mom going to say about seeing her son with this really dark-skinned girl?
Let me say this, right? When I first came to this country, us as people, we form our own prejudice by information that we get from different sources. It could be movies or what you hear people say or whatever. And when I started learning English, right away I have black friends. Even before that, I have black friends in the Boys and Girls Club, but we played pool, but we didn't understand each other, so we cannot be like good friends, right? But then later on, I have black friends and all that stuff. The people that I had prejudice against, was Mexicans. It's crazy, right? Because I lived it was 3 buildings that were together. It's in a place called Simpson Street in the Bronx, 163rd. And those 3 buildings, they were all Mexicans, right? Some of them were, Mexicans, Mexican American, Chicanos, whatever. And the other ones were Mexicans from Mexico.
Yeah.
They were always writing stuff with graffitis and all that stuff. And oh, mi vida loca and all this other stuff. So in my mind, I created this stigma
Yep.
that Mexicans are all gang members because the ones that I live around
Yep.
are all gang members.
Yep.
And the ones, imagine, not all of them, but that's the way I viewed it, right? And the ones that I saw in the movies and everywhere, you always, hearing about the essays and all sort of stuff.
Yep.
So that's the prejudice that I built in my mind, right? Even though I had some clients when I started working at the barbershop, and even in school, I had some friends that were Mexicans, but somehow I was able to separate those friends that I had from the image that I had of these Mexicans due to the fact of the image that I built myself from the Mexicans that I met on my building and, whatever. And there was this one time that I was talking trash about Mexicans. I have gotten into a lot of fights with them because of I'm already looking at you negatively.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Your perception is already set.
Exactly. So I'm already like walking, in a defensive mode. So one day I'm in the barbershop after that, and I'm talking a lot of trash. And there was this man that I knew for a little bit from the barbershop. And, I respected him. He was a really decent guy, well-mannered, well-spoken and all that stuff. And I never realized that he was Mexican. And I was talking so much trash in a decent way. He was like, no, I'm Mexican, right? And I was like, yo, my whole body got cold. I felt so embarrassed
Yeah.
because I was talking trash. I felt so embarrassed. And thank God that even at that age, I got enough common sense that I started thinking like, damn, what am I doing? Like judging all these people just by the beef and this perception that I created myself from this specific group of people that I had a bad experience with. And I kind of started departing from that way of thinking. And to be honest with you, man, through the time when I allow myself to really get to know Mexicans, I got a lot of respect, for Mexicans, to the point that one of the things that may be a small thing that happened that make me like look at Mexicans in such a different way was one time I was in PA. I was in one of them places that those places that they sell car parts, but you take them yourself.
Yeah, pick and pull.
Pick and pull. Over here they call it
El yonke.
exactly. They call it different names and stuff, but
Yeah.
there was this one in PA, and I was there, and I was having a hard time because I didn't have all my tools. And back then, I always I buy my cars, put them together, hook them up, and all that stuff. The teenage stuff. And there was this Mexican guy, and I asked him, hey, how much you charge me to take the seats off this car, right? And he said, oh, give me $20. I was like, bet. You know what I'm saying? Bro, this guy went through it trying to get that stuff. It wasn't going to be easy the way I thought it was. And he did a lot, man, even himself and everything. And I felt so bad that I tried to give him $50. And he said, no, I told you 20. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That got me to respect, people a lot. So sometimes I think that the prejudice that we have about people is for lack of knowledge, ignorance.
What y'all think about that, man? Oh man, this is crazy. Let's go to the next one, baby. Let's go to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one.
Culture. Like these are
to go out in the field and ask my people what's going on. So this is what I concluded when I went to go talk to them. They said that we don't like African Americans because they feel that we owe them something. I want to make 2 things clear. First, I want to start off by saying that when we say things like this, we are following the same agenda that we are fighting against. We are fighting against white supremacy and racism. Those ideas that, that we have, the way we think, the way we are taught to fear African Americans, that is the same thing that we are fighting against. It's no different. When we choose to speak like this and participate in these stereotypes, we are no better than the people we are fighting against. And that is a point I want to make very clear to the people within my community.
Shout out to Lions Dollars for the Cash App. Shout out to Dez in the Hill for the Cash App. Salute, support the show. You already know
that you guys sound ignorant. We need to figure it out. Where do you truly stand with this? Because, people are right. You can't ask African Americans for help when this is in the real world. That is how they are treated. My second point. Reparations are owed to the African American community. Without them, we would not be able to vote. We would not be able to go to the same schools. We would not be able to sit wherever we want. Let's not forget. They have been fighting for a very long time, since they came here. And us not acknowledging, I know I don't feel that as a country we have paid the respect that they owe. They really do. We owe them everything. It's because of greats. They're great people. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., the Black Panthers, they paved the way for us. They are the blueprint. And for us to go and participate in the same mentality that we are fighting against, it's just horrible. And it's wrong. If we don't fix this type of mentality and check our people, we are no better than the people we are up against. I want you to know that ignorance is our greatest enemy. So please do not allow yourself to be blinded by hate. I love and respect everybody, and I just want to say that if there's more people in the Latin community who are with me, I need y'all to say something. I need y'all to join the fight with me, because I can't be the only one.
And where you from, you will not attack a black woman.
Blacks and Latinos have always been at odds, and so it's interesting to see this protest come outside of New York City, where apparently a Latino woman and her trans child attacked this black woman over a parking space. And I'm not really surprised to see this because, number one, poor and working class Latinos and blacks have never been aligned. They have never been each other's friends. In fact, a lot of Latinos move into black communities and start sucking up all the resources. So that has been a major thing. And you see that a lot in places like New York City. I lived in New York City for upwards of 15 years. I know of what I speak. So it does not surprise me that the black woman was talking about how they're immigrants and they need to go back to their country or whatever. And the Latina woman and her trans daughter, her trans child just immediately got to hopping on the black woman and calling her all kinds of racial slurs. Like, this is a part of that culture. Like, it is a part of that sort of lower class Latino culture that finds itself in these large cities. They're like that, all right? And this is not the Latino culture that's in Miami. Like, this is not like a hardworking Spanish or Cuban culture. Like, these are Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. They do not like black people. I am totally
Cubans don't like black people. Now, you see, I was with you for a second, bro, but let's be real. We all know that Cubans in Miami don't like black people, bro. Let's be real. How you gonna exclude the Cubans and blame it on, man, come on, man, you got to be real.
Surprised that this went down like this.
You gonna cover, nigga? I'm fist, nigga. That
nigga right there. Yeah, you do, nigga. Stop fake. Yeah, you can that. That nigga right there.
Press that, then stop looking for black people to be out there for y'all. Y'all are not black. Latinos, specifically Mexicans, Cubans, y'all are not black. You don't have the right to say that word. You do not come from a lineage of bondage. You do not come from a place where you were sold. Okay, you are not black. No matter how much you try to be a thug, you are not black. No matter how many times you hang around black people, you are not black. And if you are not an African American, a descendant from slavery, that word should never come out of your mouth. This is why most black people are not out there, on top of them being tired because we said we told you so. This is one of the reasons why we don't feel aligned with y'all, because of things like this. And it's not just them, because they learned it from somewhere. And I don't want to hear the excuse is a product of their environment, because baby, I grew up around Latinos, okay? I grew up around them, and none of them would ever use the N-word in front of me. And yes, I grew up in Houston. So don't bring the Texas shit in there either, because that's BS. They would get checked. And I do mean by the chin. Until y'all can address that shit, don't say nothing to black people. Fix your house first before you go outside.
I just want to talk about something real quick that I feel like it's not talked about.
Hey man, she was going in, wasn't she? Shout out to her for speaking about her experiences, man. And you know, salute, man. Let's get back to the content though.
Enough. And y'all, please don't mind this music. These are my neighbors. It's such a strange feeling being a dark-skinned Latina, because sometimes I'm Dominican, right? Sometimes I have a hard time connecting with my culture, because there are a lot of things that my culture does that I don't agree with and that I take offense to as a woman of color. So today, for example, I was at work and I was talking to a coworker that doesn't really know me well or whatever about relationships and stuff like that. He's a fair tone Dominican, so he looks more Spaniard. We all know Dominicans come in different shades and stuff like that. My whole life, I just have never been attracted to Latino men. I've always dated black men, so Africans, Haitians, Jamaicans, like that's just what I'm naturally attracted to. And so I stated that, and he responded and said, oh, maybe if I lower my pants and drag them down with my ass showing, maybe then you'll like me. What is that even supposed to mean? Like, what are you implying when it comes to black people? There has also been moments where I'm with another like fair tone Dominican, and I remember one time I went to BJ's, and when we got there, she said, oh my God, there's so many black people around. I was like, what are you talking about? When I hear stuff like that, when I hear Dominicans say stuff like that, or even just any Latino country, like person, whatever, say that, like, it really pisses me the fuck off. I really hate this narrative that some Latino people look at black people this way, like there isn't black excellence and luxury classy people, classy black people, all of the above, and they just look at them like this ghetto trash, when I know that's not true. It's not true, and it really upsets me. And obviously I am of color, so I identify, I relate, and I connect more with black people, because I know what it's like to be made fun of for my complexion. That happened my whole childhood, where I got made fun of because of my complexion, and I hated that. I hated getting tanned before. I would hide under the tree and I'll be like, I don't want to get tanned, and now thank God I love my complexion. But literally it's comments like that as to why I'm just don't connect with the Latino culture. I don't get it. It's also so frustrating because I've had black people tell me, oh, you want to be black so bad. And I also have had the more like fair tone Latinos tell me, oh, you're not a real Latina. So I feel like there's no middle ground for us.
Yeah, that's crazy right there. You know what I'm saying? Man, I know you've been going through it dealing with that, man. Let's get to this this protest though, man. You know, wow.
This all started early.
Hit the like button if you haven't already. Shout out to the family, man. Where you guys at, man? Hit the like button if you haven't already. Shout out to the family. What is popping? You know? Right. And yeah, man, that's crazy, man. But that's what That's what this culture does to people, man. You know what I mean? It brainwashes people to believe something that's not true. Right now, you're gonna have bad people everywhere, right? You can't escape it. I don't care what race you're dealing with, man. But anyway, man, let's move on with the content. What you guys think, man? Give me your thoughts in the comments. Said I love my skin color and the sun. Yeah, shout out to you. Shout out to everybody. Power to the people, huh? Too much blind leading the blind. Bunch of ignorance, lack of knowledge by everyday people. Well, hey. Shout out to the people. Spain is on the verge of completely collapsing. It's going to become a thing in the past, like the Greek language, just being honest. Shout out to cultural differences. Shout out to you, my bro. Yeah. So I love being black. Yeah, you gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. Let's get back to this ICE protest, man. And I just want to see what you guys think. Bless the like button, bless the super chat if you can. And if you bless the super chat or the Cash App again, we're gonna drop the link and I'm gonna pull you guys up to speak because I want to see what y'all think about everything that's going on with this conversation. Let's go.
Up first tonight at 6, the tense moments in a Pasadena neighborhood as 3 men are taken into ICE custody.
According to family members, the men were at a gas station when ICE agents chased them back to their homes just blocks away. The standoff that followed drew the attention of nearly everyone in the neighborhood. Air 11 on the ground, and we have video also on the ground showing neighbors leaving their homes to protest what was happening. All of this happening at the corner of West Houston and Dade Streets, a neighborhood still reeling tonight.
We have team coverage for you this evening. We start with Troy Kless, who is live at the scene. Troy, what can you tell us about today?
Well, Mia, family says that their home behind me was damaged as the ICE agents were attempting to take the 3 men into custody. Now, as you mentioned, this all started early this morning when the men were apparently coming home from work. This started around 5:30 this morning when family says that the ICE agents had spotted the men at a nearby gas station and they were apparently chased back to their home. They went inside and family says ICE agents tried to break in through a window, through the roof, and even broke the home's surveillance cameras. This video showing the agents outside the house prior to the cameras being destroyed. Family says the men eventually gave up after ICE reportedly threatened to use tear gas on the house where kids and the moms were inside. Relatives describing the moment the men first came into contact with ICE.
Iban a salir porque ellos salen a las 5:30 de la mañana y ya estaban por aquí en las calles. No sé qué estaban buscando a alguien más y les pegaron a ellos y llegaron con ellos aquí.
A crowd formed across the street as people were upset with the apparent ICE activity. The Pasadena Police Department says that they were called on site for crowd and traffic control. Now, the family does not know where these men were taken. And so I reached out to the Department of Homeland Security spokesperson about an hour and a half ago, and I was told that they have a statement waiting, but they're waiting for approval before they send it out, which could provide a more clear detail of what exactly they were doing here tonight. Reporting live in Pasadena, Troy Kless, KHOU 11 News.
Thank you for that information, Troy.
All right, now let's go to another clip. I got another clip for you, man. I think y'all gonna like this one. Make sure that y'all get the likes up, man, because the likes was kind of low on the last one we did, man.
The other day, this Mexican lady, she was YT presenting. She came on the live and she was saying no hay racismo aquí en México. Nosotros aquí no discriminamos. We got to a point
Just
where
bless the like button, man, because the likes were very low on these last 2 streams. So let's get them up, man. Let's get the support up just like we had on TV1. Shout out to King Supreme. Subscribe to the channel while you at it.
she started saying, but you guys are always crying. You guys are victimizing yourself all the time. We talk about racism because it's something that actually affects us every single day. YT people don't have the need to speak about racism because they don't feel it. They don't go through it.
Before we head over to the Mexican side, we're gonna first touch on something you said because you're Cuban. she said to you as a white Mexican herself, she said, hey, I'm Mexican and Cubans have never discriminated against me. Since you're Cuban, why haven't Cubans discriminated against this white Mexican?
First of all, because she's white teen. That's the first thing. And that's one point I brought to her during the live stream. I told her that if they see somebody like you, they will tell you straight up to your face que tú eres un tiraflecha, thinking that's something right to say.
So tira flecha is somebody with the crossbow. So the way that them white Cubans, what they call people that look like me, is somebody that shoots a crossbow. It's very common to be called by white Latinos, actually. Even by white Mexicans, they call us tira flechas, or they call us pata rajada too. Pata rajada is somebody who's got cuts under their foot. The reason why is because indigenous people are not wearing shoes and running, bare feet. Now let's head over to the Mexican side of this issue. First of all, it's very common for white Mexicans to claim that there is no racism in Mexico. As a matter of fact, it's very rare when you actually find a white Mexican that will admit that there is racism. Very rare. It's so rare to find one of those. Generally speaking,
racist? No, papi, that's not true. We no racist. Me like black people. No, papi, me no racist. And the crazy part about it is they be in straight denial. But if you lived around these people and if you have experience with them, you know that they are racist. A lot of them. Yes, some of them can be cool here and there, but a lot of them are racist, man. And this ain't no fabrication. I don't care if you lived in Los Angeles, Miami, New York, you know this to be a fact, man. Let's be real. Chicago, the same thing in Chicago. We know what it is. These people think they can gaslight us. They think they can gaslight us as if we can't see the truth. Do better, man. Just do better.
When you actually find a white Mexican that will admit that there is racism. Very rare. It's so rare to find one of those. Generally speaking, white Mexicans will die on that hill of claiming that there is no racism in Mexico. But here's the thing, though. They're not lying. They're not lying that there is no racism in Mexico. For them. The thing about white people, man, not just in this country, the United States, but people need to understand the thing about white people in all of the Americas, South Africa, and everywhere where white people have colonized, Australia, Hawaii, white people, when they say there is no racism, they're not lying. Because it means there is no racism for them. And the reality, if we are honest with ourselves as non-white people, to white people, we don't matter. We are irrelevant. We are completely irrelevant. What we go through, it doesn't matter. When white people, whether here in the United States or white Latinos, when they say that there is no racism in Mexico, we have to understand what they mean. Especially in Mexico, if there's one thing to learn about Mexico, is that in Mexico, white Mexicans feel like they are the real Mexicans. Believe it or not, they're the real Mexicans. And people that look like me, indigenous people, we are not Mexican necessarily. We're Indios to them. They don't identify us as Mexican. They identify us as Indios, indigenous people. We are a different race, obviously. We are completely irrelevant. And it shows, like you said, Anthony, it shows because in Latin media and Mexican media, all you see is white people on telenovelas, on the newscast.
That is true. If you watch the news in Mexico, it ain't nothing but white people. Telemundo, these are white-looking Mexicans. European features. When you look at their government, the people in power, they're all white-looking people. You know, unfortunately, that's the reality. It's the same like that in all these Latin American countries. The white people are the ones who rule those countries. Ain't nothing but, like, you look at Telemundo, right? The people who host the show are whites. The people in government, they are whites. The people at the bottom of society in these Latin American countries, they're black people. I don't care what Latin American country you go, blacks are at the bottom of society in these Latin American countries. This ain't no secret.
Of the representation of what is Mexican is white tea. And then you see one or two of us that look like me in the backgrounds, mowing the lawns, being maids, being the help. And that we need to understand. That is a great representation of what we are to them. They are the representation. They are what matters in Mexico. And we are just the workers there. We have to understand that so we could understand what they mean when they say in Mexico there is no racism. Of course, coming from a white tea person. But now ask indigenous people if there's racism in Mexico. They're going to say, of course there is. Ask black people of Mexico if there is racism in Mexico. Absolutely there is. But then you ask a white tea person, they can't give you experiences or examples of racism because, like you said, they've never experienced it. They never will.
She went to the U.S. She started saying that there is a lot of racism against us Mexicans in the U.S. And she's like, yeah, you can see like this administration, what the administration is doing against us Mexicans. And I'm
So enforcing immigration policies is racism to a lot of Mexicans. They're backwards. Look at Mexico. Look at what's going on in Mexico. They're deporting people. They're getting rid of everybody in Mexico. See, it's mighty funny that they'll never call their country racist, but they call America racist for deporting them. They call America racist for enforcing immigration policies. But they don't call Mexico racist for doing the same thing over there. Listen, man, Mexicans don't want Venezuela. They don't want none of those Central and South Americans in Mexico. Mexico is kicking those people out.
like, take Canelo, for example. You would think that Canelo will get stopped by ICE or by and the popo here, and they're gonna ask for his paper. He won't face any discriminations here in the States. But if he opens his mouth, and then he will face discrimination because of where he comes from, because of the language that he speaks, but not because of the color of his skin. She didn't want to understand that. The only Mexicans are actually being persecuted here in the U.S. are the native people.
Let me pause you right there, Anthony. Thank you for bringing that up. What white tea presenting Mexicans face is not racism. Because the white tea Mexicans, when they come here, and white tea Latinos, when they come here, on sight, because of what they look like, because they are racially identified as white, they'll never face racism. They'll never face discrimination because of what they look like. They have to open their mouth. They have to go out of their way to identify themselves as, sure, white tea racially, but something else. So when we really think about it, they never face racism. No. Because before they open their mouth, before anything, they are identified as white tea. That is the race of these people of Latin America that are white tea presenting. That is their race. They're white tea. The moment they open their mouth, and like you said, white tea people hear an accent, they still see a white tea person. But now they discriminate because they speak another language and they assume they come from a different country. That's xenophobia now. Sure.
Xenophobia, yeah.
Sure, they experience discrimination now because of they're potentially from a different country, but they don't face racism. And that's the problem, because someone that looks like you, someone that looks like me, because of what we look like, we are discriminated against. They're never going to be discriminated against because of what they look like. They're only discriminated against because of maybe they speak Spanish, Portuguese, etc. That's xenophobia.
I don't know how to talk to whitey people about racism because I know they won't be able to understand it. I don't even want to do the effort of, going out of my way to explain to whitey people how this works and how we are affected collectively by all this racism and the caste system and everything that the white tea man created here, especially in Latin America.
You said that she said that when she came to talk with you, that she claimed that, you see what right? We Mexicans face here in this country, we face racism because we're Mexican. It's ironic to me how white tea Latinos, in this case, white tea Mexicans, now they know what racism is because they're being discriminated against. Now they know what that's like.
They're not being discriminated against. America is enforcing its immigration policies. Nobody calls Mexico racist for enforcing their immigration policy. So no, they're not being discriminated on. Nobody's being racist towards them. America is now enforcing their immigration policies, and they have every right to do so.
Any of it all and the hypocrisy of it all, the way that they feel they're being treated when they come to this country is exactly the way that they treat people that look like you and I in Latin American countries. That's the hypocrisy and the irony of it all, is that the way that they complain that they're treated here when they come to this country is the way that they treat us in Latin American country. That's the irony.
See, that's the hypocrisy I just talked about. Mexico deports people that they don't want there. And the people in Mexico, they don't like darker skinned people over there. They don't. They discriminate and they deport people over there. But when they come to America, they want to call America racist for enforcing these immigration policies that should have been enforced a long time ago. I'm talking about 60 to 70 years ago. They should have started enforcing these laws, and we wouldn't have the issues right now with all these damn illegals and anchor babies.
With the white Latinos.
She also said that Black Mexicans, they don't face any type of discrimination in Mexico. She had the audacity to say that Black people are in the condition that they are in Mexico is because of racism. It's because of a whole system that is set up against us.
Mm-hmm.
And she couldn't understand it.
And for white Latinos, what it looks like and what it feels like to them to experience losing their privilege is when they come to this country. That's when they realize, and that's when they start feeling what it feels like. Not to the full effect, of course, because they're still white tea, but because of the fact that they're from another country and because they speak a different language, because they have an accent when they speak English, now they face something. And that's when they finally, once in their life, they experience what it's like to lose some of that privilege. And you would think that this alone would help them understand what people from the countries that they come from experience, because they're not white tea. But still, no, they don't care. And that's why it's important to note that for white tea Latinos, whether Mexicans, etc., you know, what we go through is completely irrelevant, because here...
Yes, I support deportation. Yes, I do. Because guess what? The Black community is the first place that they dump all these damn illegals. Illegal immigration hurts the Black community directly. From Los Angeles, California. A lot of our communities now look like south of the border because they've allowed so many illegals to overpopulate our community. So you're damn right, I support deportation, because guess what? If you go to Mexico, guess what? They enforce immigration policies over there in Mexico. You can't go to Mexico undocumented and think you're gonna stay there. They're gonna boot you up out of there quick fast. You can't go to none of these countries illegally and think you're gonna stay there and think that you have rights when you came illegally in the first place. Nah, homie. We're supposed to let them get away with stuff in America that we could never get away with in a country. Go to Mexico or Central America undocumented and see what's gonna happen to you when you go there.
White tea Latinos, they have the opportunity to experience what it's like to be discriminated against. They finally get the opportunity when they come to this country. And you would think that would, oh shit, maybe that's what they're talking about over there in the country, in Mexico and Latin America. But that still doesn't do it for them. It's because we just don't matter to them. We're completely irrelevant. Our struggle is irrelevant. Unfortunately, that doesn't become enough for them.
All right, so let's go to the next clip. Yeah, man, you damn right I support that. You know what I'm saying? The hell? You can't go nowhere and do that.
It's now because to other Latinos, indigenous, and Black folks will not bring you any closer to the whiteness that you crave so much. And if this message bothers you, then it was probably meant for you.
Still mad about my post. Nothing can stop me from saying that there is a lot of colorism, racism, and self-hatred in Latin America. I'll stop preaching when lighter-skinned Latinos or even Black Latinos who feel that they're white will stop speaking about people in Spanish in front of them because they're thinking that they don't know Spanish because they're Black. I'll stop preaching when Latina mothers and grandmothers and aunts stop preaching about mejor la raza, to better your race by dating lighter-skinned people or somebody with more European features to deplete the Blackness in the family. I'll stop preaching when me and my mother and my family stop getting treated a certain way because we Black in Latin America, when we go to restaurants, airports, everywhere. A lot of y'all are Black and in denial. Whether you look it or not, you're Black. mulata, all of that. You're black.
So my parents call me Prieto. Prieto means dark. Or Negro. Negro obviously means black. And that's literally what they call me, right? My cousin call me Negrito. And I guess in Mexico, it's so desensitized. But again, in Mexico, slavery was abolished way before the US. So maybe that's why it's not a thing. I don't know. Now, with that being said, I'm the dark kind of Mexican, obviously, right?
They abolished slavery, I believe, like in the 1820s or the 1830s in Mexico. So they abolished slavery like 30 or 40 years before they abolished it here in the United States, right? So it wasn't really way before, maybe like 30 years before. But the thing is this, they didn't stop practicing racism. They abolished slavery, but they continued to practice racism in Mexico. You know, Mexico barely acknowledged their black population maybe like a few years ago. And the blacks in Mexico played a major role in helping Mexico to gain their independence from Spain. The blacks in Mexico fought against the Spanish. They fought to kick the Spanish out of Mexico. So the blacks in Mexico, Gaspar Yanga, look up Gaspar Yanga. Gaspar Yanga played a major role. He led his soldiers in battle against the Spanish in Mexico. Gaspar played a major role in Mexico getting their independence from Spain. And Mexico did their black population dirty. Blacks in Mexico are in some of the most impoverished communities. They barely added blacks in Mexico to the census. They barely added them to the Constitution. So what does that mean? For centuries, blacks in Mexico didn't even have civil rights. The country of Mexico refused to acknowledge their black population, left them out of the census. They didn't benefit from the Constitution because they were never citizens. They barely got added to the Constitution, like 10 years ago? So Mexico did their black population dirty.
Right, so I'm actual brown, not peachy brown. I'm brown. It's now becoming a thing. More recently, I started hearing about colorism. Like colorism, this is the first year that I hear about it. I've never heard about it in my life. Racism, obviously we grew up with that, right? Like we grew up knowing about it. I've always refused to be a victim or whatever. Nonetheless, I acknowledge that it's a real thing, right? It exists. So in Mexico, the racism and colorism stuff isn't
you guys watch your language in the chat, man. You know, y'all putting stuff in my my chat. Why don't you bless the super chat and bless the Cash App? You leaving crazy stuff in the comments, man. YouTube is gonna hold your comments if you're saying something crazy. And you might say, well, I didn't say anything crazy. Well, check out the guidelines of YouTube, man. There's just certain things that you can't say. So it's not that my moderators have to do it. A lot of times YouTube will hold those messages for review. So be careful. Be careful of the things that you say in my comments. That's all I ask.
Apparent, but I guess it's a thing. I've never experienced it, but then again, I don't go to Mexico too often. Yeah, here in the US, I don't think people can call or have those nicknames for other people, especially if their actual color is not the same color, right? So I don't think a white person calls things to people, which is kind of weird. That in Mexico, it is allowed. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Are Mexicans racist? I don't think so. It comes from a place of love when they say those things. At least that's what I think. But let me know what you guys think.
The best example of how anti-Black the Latinx community can be and is that the Dominican Republic and Haiti is on the same island, but only the Dominican Republic is considered Latin America, to most people at least. Like, it's only been the past few years that I realized that since I'm Haitian American, I am also Afro Latinx. And the way it doesn't even sit right with me because I've never been considered that by the Latinx community is wild. Like, even on our island of Hispaniola, the anti-Blackness, the racism, the colorism is wild. And I don't know, like it literally blows my mind.
Latinos racist against Black people? Good question. So first of all, let me start by acknowledging that's the truth. And anyone that says otherwise is not helpful in this whole conversation. Like white people saying, I don't see color. Secondly, race is just a construct. that was invented by European people intended to divide us, which they successfully managed to do. And unfortunately, just like many other purposefully marginalized communities, we play along exactly into the narrative of letting them divide us. We all have that tío or abuelito or papa in our family that is racist, that is, has issues with Black people or Asian people, or is homophobic or transphobic. And most likely it's more family members than not. The issue is that it's really difficult to have these conversations. But we need to have these conversations with our own community. We need to call out, call in, and educate our own family members, our own friends. And too often I see Latinos stay silent. And they say, oh, that's just how he is. And yes, I use he a lot because it's a lot of times the man, at least in my experience. And if you live in LA, you probably know the scandal we recently had with the leaked audio. For me, the only scandal really was that so many Latinos that I know pretended that that's a surprise. Really? That's exactly like white people pretending that they're...
A lot of Latinos pretend like they're not racist, right? They'll gaslight you and pretend like, oh, no, it's not true. No, we know it's true. I've been around them too long to not know what I'm talking about, and you even got Latino people on social media now who are admitting the fact that their people are racist. They'll admit it.
We're surprised that racism exists. There are so many issues in our Latino community, from being anti-Black to brown people calling themselves white. I mean, please identify as whatever you want, but it's weird. To light-skinned Latinos like myself, pretending that they have the same racism to deal with as a Black person. And then there is the whole other layer of not being Latino enough, not being Black enough, not being brown enough. It's like our community is so busy tearing each other down that we lost sight of who is actually doing the oppression here. I had a US-born friend here in LA whose both parents were Mexican, but she has never been to Mexico and she doesn't speak Spanish. And she told me that in her opinion, I wasn't really Mexican, which I thought was funny. And I immigrated as an adult. I'm not even first generation. I'm a Mexican immigrant in the United States. But to her, just because my mom was European, that was enough to tell me I wasn't actually Latina. And those are the same kind of people that pretend that all Latinos are brown and act like Afro-Latinos don't exist. It's time for all of us to unite, because together we're not the minority. We are the majority if we just have each other's back.
Honestly, I'm so glad that you're asking this, because I've been wanting to talk about this for a very long time. And
Shout out to Gold P for the super chat. He said, money for the play. Shout out to King Supreme. And the chat keep winning. Shout out to Gold P for the super chat, man.
Make a more detailed video in the future, but I would be lying. I think a lot of us Latinos would be lying if we said that there wasn't anti-Blackness in our communities, because there is this.
We are the majority if we just have each other's back.
Honestly, I'm so glad that you're asking this, because I've been wanting to talk about this for a very long time, and I'll probably make a more detailed video in the future, but I would be lying. I think a lot of us Latinos would be lying if we said that there wasn't anti-Blackness in our communities, because there is this deeply rooted anti-Blackness that I think has gotten better in recent years, but it certainly exists. And as someone whose brother-in-law is Black, whose nephews are Mexican-American Black, I can't tell you how angry and frustrated I am, and honestly just disappointed by the atrocities that I keep seeing today when it comes to anti-Blackness in Latino communities. And I can speak to specifically in Mexican communities. And just really quickly before I go to answer your question, what I find really sad is that when you look at history, the Latino community and the Black community have always helped each other out. You look at the abolition of slavery in Mexico, which happened only 8 years after Mexico gained its independence from Spain. and they were bringing slaves from the US through Texas into Mexico to grant them freedom. And this was particularly done because of President Vicente Guerrero, I believe. He was Afro-Latino, which, by the way, was one of the earlier presidents in Mexico. So how can we even forget that an Afro-Latino man was one of the earlier presidents of Mexico? You look at the Chicano movements of the 1960s and the 1970s. You had Black Panthers and Chicano activists coming together to fight for universal justice for their communities. When you look at something as early...
I don't know about that, buddy. You might have had a few of them, but no, they never came together. You probably had a few of them, but collectively, I say no. I say no. You know, I just got to be real with you. You do realize that Mexicans fought to be legally white in the 1930s here in the United States. So you can't have it both ways. You can't fight to be white, but at the same time say that you fought side by side with blacks. Now, you might have had some individuals, yes, but collectively, no. Most Mexicans were fighting to have the same rights as white people. So if they're fighting to have the same rights as white people, they are not fighting side by side with blacks. Nah, not on a large scale, brother.
As the Black Lives Matter movement, which I was in Arizona for. And let me tell you, I went marching and it was packed. And about 85 to 90%, I can confidently say, were Latinos. And they were hand in hand with their Black sisters and brothers. I tell you, it was beautiful. I mean, I'm getting literally chills. It just reminded me in that moment how we've been robbed, how our communities have been robbed from togetherness because we've been othered, not only by ourselves, but mainly by white supremacists. The devil works hard, but the white man works harder. And I say that because I think historically we've seen...
All right, there you go, man. There you go. Hit the like button, man, and show some love to the show. You already know. Bless that like button. It ain't nothing. It's King Supreme on the microphone. So this is what I'm going to do. The Brown Berets, who were Mexican spinoff of the Black Panther. Yeah, I heard about them. Shout out to Cat 6. Yeah, they were pretty much a spinoff of the Black Panthers. And I think in New York, they had the Young Lords or something like that. They had another little spinoff in New York, right, who just kind of imitated and emulated what the Black Panthers was doing, right? So that's exactly what that was, right? So this is the problem. Y'all crazy. Listen, man, get us 3 more people, man. Let's get 3 more people. Let's get 3 more people to bless the Cash App, man. As soon as we get 3 more people to bless the Cash App, man, I'm gonna drop the link and I'm gonna pull you guys up to speak. But first things first, let's get 3 more contributors, man, and we're gonna drop that link. I would love to see what you guys have to say. Hit the like button, man. It is what it is. Hold on 1 second. I knew y'all was gonna get on his helmet. I knew y'all was gonna get on his helmet. I could tell. I knew y'all was gonna get on him. I said it's only a matter of time. They gonna say he's moist and rice. He's moist and moist. Moist and moist. Here go this dude right here said expose.
Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV.
Yeah, he got exposed for calling this black lady at my day. I want to see the excuse. He said haters exposed. Haters, somebody. I'm sick of people misusing the word hate. I'm sick of people misusing that. No, what they did was expose the truth. You play black music, you try to talk with a black accent, you try to rhyme when you talk, you're taking a whole black swagger and the black vernacular. You got the nerve to call somebody mayante, and when somebody exposed it, you got the nerve to call those people haters. I would love this. Listen, I'm waiting to hear this dude's explanation. Let's hear what he has to say.
Back at it, you are the dope content that the gun stays kicking. So, man, what a difference a day makes. If it ain't one thing, it's 2 others, right? And now, I guess I'm the David Duke of the internet. Now, Gun's the David Duke of social media, the David Duke of YouTube, right? I am being alleged to be a racist, and I got people that feel some type of way. Let me first and foremost address the African American community, the brothers, right? I've been pushing this black and brown before some of you were born, man. I got none but love for the brothers, man. You ain't never, ever, I challenge anyone without some AI bullshit to ever show me saying the N-word or anything.
No, Gunner saying that he didn't say that, man. I should have made this a separate video. Gunner said it was AI. Now, it's a Mexican dude. He's a YouTuber. This Mexican guy is married to a black woman. Word is that Gunner's Collective called his wife a mayate. And Gunner said, hey, man, I didn't say it. People are making this up. That was AI. I didn't send that message. Somebody is lying on me. Somebody is trying to frame me. That's what the gun said. Let's see.
Statement towards a brother, man. You know, I might have hurt some feelings. I might have said some things that you didn't agree with. But as far as the N-word or anything like that, ain't never did that. But there's a text floating around. I don't know if it's a text or an IG message or whatever. But there's an individual who, and this ain't the first time, man. He floated this around a couple years back, 2-3 years ago, trying to allege that Gun's a racist and Gun feels some type of way about the African-American community. Nah, bro, it was personal. And he is married to a black woman. And all I ever said, the only thing I ever said was the bitch looked like AC Green. Okay, I'm a big Lakers fan, man. I could have went harder and said she looked like Sam Cassell because she was leaning more that way. But I kept it even, Steven, and said she looked like AC Green. Had nothing to do with her being black. Had a lot to do with her being black. Okay? And it's like this. He's married to a black woman, and I didn't despise him for it because I've been with several black women. And I can tell you right now, those are pretty much my preference over everything. But we're going to keep it like this. This guy's flown some imaginary text around saying that I called her a word that I've never even said in my life. Let me explain something to you guys. First of all, I'm from Northern California. Not that it makes that much of a big difference. But anyone who knows the Norteño movement know that we carry our estilo is just a little bit different from Southern California. There's different dialect, different words that we say. Now, we're all brown. We all feel how we feel. We're all going to rock how we rock inside a prison and outside, right? But there's just certain things that we don't say. We don't speak alike, right? You know, for a long time, Northerners have always been called, I ain't even going to say the word because it's too close to the word that they're saying that I said, right? We've always been called like we were acting black or we had too much swag or too much style or too much flavor. And I went ahead and rode with that. As a Northerner, it was like, I was never like that. But I was like, man, if that's what people think because we're good in the hood with the brothers, man, then that's what they think. Now, that doesn't mean all Norteños were good with every black gang in the area. No, that's not the way it worked because in my city, we went at it with the Crips. You know, I never can sit here and tell you that it was to the fullest with me because I was locked up during them times. But when I did get out, there was animosity and tension with the Crips. Now, I went to school with these same brothers, right, with these cats. So at the same time, in the meantime, in between time.
No, Gunner saying, he said, man, I didn't say that, man. That was AI. I don't know if he's telling the truth, but Gunner said, man, that was AI, man. I didn't call that woman on my yate. They trying to frame me, man. That was AI. I didn't say that.
I based my interactions off personal relationships. Yeah, if the hood didn't get along with their hood, if it was some hood shit, then it's all good shit, right? But most of these guys that I would see, they knew me already. We already knew each other. So it was like, all right, what's up, Gabe? All right, what's up, Snaven? All right, what's up? You know what I mean? I knew these cats. So there was never a racist bone in my body like, oh, I wanted to get them because they were brothers, right? Because if you know anything about Merced, California, man, we rocked with the brothers to the fullest, man. If you look at the group Lowdown, you see Wino and Droop and all these different brothers, right, that were with Mexicans. That's how the movement was. The Bay Area, same thing, Northern California, black and brown united. Black and brown. And so there was never a racist bone in my body. It's not the way I was raised. I didn't hate you because of the pigmentation of your skin or dislike you. Hey, if I disliked you, it was because the way you treated me and how you showed me what you were all about when you showed me what you're all about. No matter what color you are, black, white, green, brown, yellow, it didn't matter, right? But what I have on social media is a lot of hate and a lot of guys that are always constantly trying to expose me for whatever, right? And now the latest thing is because they're so mad at me for whatever reason this week, right? And I congratulate the haters, man. Do your thing. If you can sway people your way, do your thing, Bobo, right? Do what you got to do. It's not going to stop my strive. You're not going to end my channel. You're not going to stop me. You're not going to make me out to be a racist, and people are going to, if you want to fall off, bro. That's what's meant to be. But those that rock with me, rock with me. And if you don't, I ain't even tripping one way or the other. I'm always going to be, where's it at? Brown and proud, no matter what, right? But for the African-American community, for the brothers, man, if you believe the shenanigans and the bullshit put forth by someone who has in the past disrespected brothers and did all that, well, then you're boo-boo the fool. And that's just straight up, man. I don't give a fuck what color you are. That's just a fact, right? Now, there's this alleged text message or Instagram post, and I'm not going to say it's AI. Not at all. I'm not one of those dudes, oh, that's AI. I'm blaming AI for everything. This was prior to AI blowing up. This has been put out for 2 or 3 years, man. This is one individual who has a hatred for me like no other in this world.
Now he's saying it's not AI. First they were saying it was AI, man. It wasn't me. I didn't say that. Well, then what's the excuse, Gun?
And I don't even know why, to tell you the truth. I mean, now, subsequently, since the interaction back and forth, there's been some back and forth, and I can understand why he doesn't like me now. But initially, I think he just didn't like me because he was hating on me. He was envious, jealous of my success, seeing me blowing up on YouTube, wanted to be like Mike. You know what I'm saying? What did AI said? Man, Shaq was dominant. Man, LeBron's the shit. But man, I want to be like Mike. Well, Mike happens to be my middle name, and that's who this cat wanted to be like. And so he decided to do a crusade, to take it upon himself to disrespect me, to disrespect my family, to go in on me. And then when he seen he wasn't getting the attention that he wanted, he went the dirty route and said, man, this dude disrespected my wife and called her the M word, not the N word, the M word in Spanish, right? With the ata at the end. I don't even talk like that, bro. I won't say the N word, let alone that word. First of all, man, I'm from Northern California, bro. We don't never say that word. We don't even talk like that. So that's some stupid shit, right? That's you, bro. You're from Southern California, and it's so easily you projecting your bullshit on me. You're so mad at what the gun's doing and how I'm rocking, right? That you had to make your own funky ass email or your own funky ass shit to make me look bad. Like I would say that. You think I'm stupid enough? I'm a businessman. I've been doing this shit long enough, bro. If I just happen to be a racist, if I just happen to be undercover, you think I would fucking expose my hand to someone who hates me that I know would put it out there immediately? Think about it. I ain't dumb, right? And he's definitely stupid.
Okay, well, what happened then, man? Was it AI or what was it?
But I don't know how stupid he is, because at the end of the day, I was thinking all this time, like maybe he made this shit up himself, man, just to try to make me look bad. That's how despicable this human being is, right? Then I got to thinking, well, he's easily swayed and played. And at them times, those that were been watching me for a long time know that this individual was getting played left and right by all kinds of people. They would tell him one thing, he'd do another, man. And everyone's susceptible to, you know, people speaking in your ears and whispering in your ears and getting you all frustrated, right? But this guy, I think, got played. I think someone identified themselves as me in Instagram or email or whatever, and he ran with it thinking he was having a back and forth with me that I didn't even know about. Let me explain something to you.
Oh, so now what he's saying, it was a fake profile. He's saying it was a fake profile and it wasn't him sending those messages. Do you guys believe him? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I can't say yay or nay. You know, at first they were saying AI. He said, nope, somebody. That's like if somebody created a fake profile and said it was me, and they started sending messages to somebody saying racist stuff, right? That's what Gunner is saying. Gunner is saying somebody created a profile, took his picture, created a profile, and said racist things about that other guy's wife who happened to be black. Gun saying, hey, man, it wasn't me. I don't know what's going on, homie, but it wasn't me. No, it wasn't me. I didn't say it. It was a fake profile, AI.
We're talking about an individual, man, who all he had to ever do in the beginning was reach out and be like, hey, Gun, you know what I'm saying? I don't fuck with you like that, or I fuck with you like that. Could you help me? He's either going to get a yes or no answer. You know, people don't like no answers. They get no, and then they hate you. They hate your life. They hate what you're doing. Look, if I could help you, and I've helped so much people in the game, so many, black, white, brown, Asian, Uso.
All right, I'm going to drop the thing, man. Do you believe him, man? I want to see if you guys going to pull up. Who want to pull up and add something, man? I don't know, man. You know, I didn't see the I did see the message, right? But I don't know, because somebody created a profile Somebody created, listen, bro. Somebody created a fake profile with my picture on it. This was like 2 years ago, and they was going to comment sections saying things. Now, I don't know if this was the case. If I don't know if he said it or if he didn't, but he's saying that, hey man, it wasn't me, man. Somebody created a fake profile and called that black woman some racial slurs, man, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Like Jackie. It wasn't me. Oh man. Oh. That wasn't me. That's crazy, man. That is crazy work. Hold on, man. Hold on. Let's finish this real quick.
Doesn't matter, man. Anyone knows that if they reach out, I help. You know, if I was a racist and I didn't like black people, man, I would say, hey, look, I'm a straight up motherfucker. I would tell you guys straight up. I don't sugarcoat nothing. You see that cat Charleston White sugarcoating anything? He's like, man, fuck Mexicans. He be saying it straight up. And people still is more real than you. First of all, Wes Watson's putting hands on brothers. Second of all, Wes Watson's calling the N-word with the hard ER while doing it, right? If that's what you think is real, then go ahead and run with that, bro. But that's not what I think is real. I've always said the N-word is a buffer word, a despicable word, an ignorant word, and a word that nobody should be using. How do I know? Because when I was sold up with the lead singer of Tower of Power, a brother, right? You know, he used to give me game, and he used to tell me he was an OG. He used to tell me, man, he hated when brothers said the N-word. So I always was influenced by that. Like, man, I don't like it. That's why I don't run around like gang and say the N-word and all that and try to act like something I'm not, because I'm not that. And there ain't a brother that is that either, man. Brothers are brothers, and that's it. Mexicans are Mexicans, and we are going to rock how we rock.
Oh, yeah, the illegal trucker, man. I was supposed to, yeah, because I remember you did say that. You did say that. Let me go to that clip real quick. Hold on. Let's get to that too, man. So we're gonna come back to this one, man. Bless the like button. Bless the like button. We're gonna come back to this one. And we're gonna talk about everything, man. Give me like 5 more minutes, man. Give me like 5 more minutes.
Right. And horrible scenes on a California freeway Tuesday. We warn you, of course, this video could be very upsetting. 3 people were killed when a semi-truck driven by an illegal immigrant plowed into traffic just east of Los Angeles. It's the most recent of several incidents across the country that we've been reporting on for you here. And William Lajeunesse is in LA with more. Hi, William.
Well, Dana, sources say the driver is a 21-year-old illegal immigrant caught and released at the California border by the Biden administration in March of 2022. Yet the state of California gave Jashanpreet Singh, an Indian national living near San Francisco, a commercial driver's license. CHP charged him with DUI and multiple counts of vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. He's expected in court today. So the crash happened Tuesday on the 10 freeway outside LA. Singh, in an 18-wheeler, made no attempt to slow down.
That's Ontario, man. Ontario is in San Bernardino. See, the 10 freeway runs through San Bernardino, everything. It runs through Southern California. It goes through different states. So I thought it was LA, but yes, Ontario, California, man. You guys know where if you're from Southern California, man, you probably know where the Ontario Mills is and, you know, the mall out there. But Ontario is in San Bernardino County. That's not Los Angeles. That's not Orange County. That is San Bernardino County, the Inland Empire.
Slamming into the back of an SUV before plowing into multiple other vehicles in the same lane. He then crashed into 2 more trucks on the shoulder.
The driver was transported for injuries to a local hospital, and at the hospital he was arrested for driving under the influence of drugs.
So illegal immigrants and foreign nationals who can't speak English or read road signs getting into deadly crashes, all too common. A few months ago, you remember this Indian national killed 3 in Florida, making an illegal U-turn. Florida is suing California for giving him a CDL. According to the federal audit, California issued 62,000 commercial driver's licenses.
They suing him. Hold on. Florida suing him. Hold on.
all too common. A few months ago, you remember this Indian national killed 3 in Florida, making an illegal U-turn. Florida is suing California for giving him a CDL. According to the federal audit, California issued 62,000 commercial driver's licenses to those who are not citizens or permanent residents.
Whoa, listen to that. Look at how many. This is crazy. So Florida sued California, like y'all allowed this fool. This fool came over here and did all this damage. So Florida sued, and then they give thousands of licenses to illegals, people who are not even citizens. That is crazy. You know how many black people are looking for jobs, transportation jobs, trucking jobs? You're giving all these jobs away to illegals.
California issued 62,000 in Florida, making an illegal U-turn. Florida is suing California for giving him a CDL. According to the federal audit, California issued 62,000 commercial driver's licenses to those who are not citizens or permanent residents. Now, in California also gave a CDL to a semi-driver here accused in this crash that killed a motorist in Texas. The trucker only spoke Mandarin. All Tuesday, ICE put a detainer on this illegal immigrant from Serbia who ran his truck into oncoming traffic and killed an Indiana man. And then check out this post last week from Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy of a foreign driver headed into oncoming traffic.
You are going the wrong way down the freeway. You are committing a felony right now. Okay, what I'm doing, sir? Well, one, why the going the wrong way down the freeway?
This fool was going, he was going the wrong way. Look at this. That's why the white man told him, like, man, what are you doing? You're going the wrong way. And this fool is driving us. My God.
Oncoming traffic.
You are going the wrong way down the freeway. You are committing a felony right now. Okay, what I'm doing, sir? Well, one, why the going the wrong way down the freeway? That's right. I'm doing it back.
So DOT calls this a national emergency. Recently, they imposed a ban on giving out new CDLs to non-U.S. residents, singled out California for having loose verification and documentation and skills test. Dana?
All right, William, thank you.
I want to bring in Bill Iseli, U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California. Bill, nice to see you again. Thanks for coming back on our show. I want to give more on this DUI arrest. He had to be traveling at a fast rate of speed. What happened here?
Yeah, I spoke to the DA. My understanding is he was traveling at a fast rate of speed and he did not apply his brakes at all. They do suspect he was under the influence of some type of stimulant. They are waiting for that toxicology report. I do suspect he will be charged with vehicular homicide. However, we're also looking at charges. We're opening an investigation to understand how he obtained a commercial driver's license from the state of California as an illegal immigrant, and we want to understand whether anyone in the DMV
the whole thing caught on fire too. Like he's an idiot.
We obtained a commercial driver's license from the state of California as an illegal immigrant, and we want to understand whether anyone in the DMV was complicit in issuing that driver's license to him.
Okay, that's just one case now. What about this 44-year-old TikToker who apparently showed up at ICE raids and filed them online with video and pictures, etc.? Here is Todd Lyons. He was on our show yesterday talking about that.
This person received an award from the city of Los Angeles for documenting ICE law enforcement activities. Almost daily, we have 2 to 3 of these ramming incidents, which is a deadly force. You know, and it's putting our officers and agents at risk. And even though we're at 1,000% assaults on officers, I guarantee it's more than that, because every day my office is constantly dealing with reports from the field about these criminally illegal aliens either fighting with officers, trying to ram vehicles, or even worse.
Yeah, and he says that's just entirely unacceptable. What do you do about it?
Well, we're charging him. He is being charged with assault with a deadly weapon. He will be facing up to potentially 20 years in federal prison. He could have just been deported. I mean, had he just complied and gone willingly, he would have just been deported. But Bill, you've got the politicians here in California just the day before holding a press conference with congressional Democrats saying how they're being terrorized by federal agents, and they're emboldening and encouraging the public to resist federal agents. And that's what they're doing.
I was in LA right here. This is LA right here for sure.
Flooring his car at our agents, that is a deadly weapon. Not only will you face prosecution, but you might get shot like he did. So they're really endangering the lives not only of the law enforcement officers, but of these illegal immigrants as well.
Okay, but he's a private citizen, right? Or He was legal. Is that right? He was legally here?
No, he's an illegal immigrant. He's an
Okay,
illegal
got it.
immigrant, and
Okay,
yeah.
Noted. The reason why I make that distinction is because there are members of government now, Democrats, who are trying to establish these websites where people can report where ICE is working, okay? Here is a teacher in Los Angeles, which sounds really like a bit of a veiled threat to me. Listen here.
Don't forget where you're standing. This is South Central Los Angeles. They are not the only ones with guns in this city. They're not the only ones, and don't forget that.
Oh, they making threats, man. Man, California tolerates this fool made a threat. He's saying ICE agents ain't the only one with guns.
They are not the only ones with guns in this city. They're not the only ones, and don't forget that. And I don't say that because we're calling for violence. I'm saying that because the people have every right to defend themselves against masked, unidentified gunmen.
So they're not the only ones with guns in this city.
It's very dangerous, potentially criminal rhetoric, and he's not the only one say it. You have other elected officials who repeat the same thing he does. So we are going to take a look at not only his statements, but other people's statements. But that's the type of rhetoric, reckless rhetoric that we're seeing out of leaders here in California.
Okay, if they set up a website, even a politician, Letitia James is threatening to do this. If they create an app, can you shut it down?
You know, context will matter.
Go P, where you at, Go P?
Man, what's happening? What's happening? Shout out. Man, what's happening to everybody? Peace to everybody in the chat. What's happening? King Supreme. What's
Chilling,
good,
bro.
my guy? Shout out to my Cali partner, my Cali player partner. In LA, you know, I'm down in Dago, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you right down the street, man.
Hey, I'm right down the street, brother. You know, we know what it is, man. You know, Cali players play different down than the other outside of Cali, man. We kind of play different. But hey, man, you know, when you've had guns on, right? I will say this: up north, cats do move kind of differently. Meaning, down in LA and San Diego, you know, we got bangers down here, right? Whereas up in the Bay and all that, right? They got players, pimps, and Max. So the conversation does run different. I will credit Guns for that, acknowledging that part. I'm not saying he I don't that other stuff, I don't know, but we do know Cali's get down, right? In certain areas. We know what it is, right? But you know, it's interesting how cats will say how I put it in some super chats too. You know, I'm supportive. You know, I've been supportive of your channel, whether it be financially, whether it be leaving comments, whether it be hitting that like button. I've been a staunch supporter of your show, so I make it a point to say that you know, when we're saying something and doing something, we are about that work. Everybody want to be black, but don't want to be black. I'm saying we, you know, when you're about supporting somebody, be genuine with it, right?
Right.
Be genuine with it. And we hear a lot of people talk about, yeah, you know, I know a black person. I know a black person. He's with a black woman, and you know, I've been with some too. Don't that sound like, hey, I have a black friend?
Yeah.
That's what that sound like, man. You know, hey, man. And as far as this situation you just showed, right?
Yeah.
I think it was Cat 6. Cat 6 said, hey, man, this is a slap in the face for those who have put the work in. Let me quote Cat 6. He says, this is a slap in the face to everyone who had to go through 18 months of trade school to train and earn their CDL. And they just had these clowns licenses just for handed these clowns licenses just for showing up illegally. Now, that means something, man, because there are a lot of brothers who were incarcerated, who had to turn their life around, who had to go and put in the work to go get these licenses, fail the test, go back, fail the test, go back, and continuously put in the work to get it right. But here we are. I mean, that means something, man. That means something off top, man. And this is a slap in the face, man. It is a slap. Let you get a ticket. Well, now a brother has to worry about it hitting his CDL license. He get arrested for something, whatever. He off top, he is worried about his CDL license. Off top. So he ain't looking to put himself in a position where he can't go get his money. That's just what it is. Especially here in Cali. Red. Hey, Cali, people are up and down the road on a regular basis. They move product here in Cali, man, and outside of Cali. Trucking is a thing. So you think brothers want to jeopardize their work that they had to put into to get this license? You think that they want to be out here messing up? And we know, hey, look, man, we know we got some interesting weather here, Red. We know coming through the grapevine. We know what the grapevine is, right?
Yep.
The grapevine, shoot, you better know how to drive through there. That's off top. So you think that people want to put in all that work to jeopardize their livelihood? But yet we have this cat here driving down the wrong way in an 18-wheeler truck. Who gave him his license? I'm with Florida. Florida says, hey, we suing everybody.
Yeah, because then they said, I forget how many thousand. They said they gave thousands of I believe CDLs to people that's not even citizens, immigrants. California did this.
I ain't mad about the lawsuits. I mean, hey, pay what you weigh. You gave them the license. Well, you gotta pay for the consequences of your actions.
Because look, if he don't know how to drive down if he's driving down the wrong side of the road, you can clearly see these dudes don't know how to drive. So that's how you know somebody was just giving them license, because clearly they're not qualified to drive.
Hey, we gonna keep it supreme. And he don't know how to speak English.
Right.
Come on, man. And he can't speak English. You can't drive and you can't speak English.
and go for real, Go B. And they think we was playing around when we say Cali just be giving illegals positions they don't deserve. This is a prime example of that right there.
Prime example in real time. This is not 20 years ago. This is as of recent.
Yeah.
This is as of recent. And people mad at us when we say, hey, look, just appreciate the work it took to get these things. The work it took to acquire this license, this CDL, and be a productive citizen. Why is everybody mad when we say, hold on, you're not conducting yourself right? You are driving down the wrong street in a semi truck and you can't speak English. You don't see nothing wrong with that? Come on. You don't. Whoever says whoever makes reasons or excuses for this, it's a problem with you. Off top, it is a problem with you, because there are many people who are. Look, we can even take the people who did it the right way, who went down that road to become legal, upstanding citizens, who are Latina, Asian, whatever, they took time to do it the right way. Why everybody else can't do that? I'm saying there's a problem here, and California is one of the provocateurs of this because they just let anybody do anything, let anybody just have it, and then when it becomes a danger to some, then they want to cast the blame. Well, it's so and so fault. No. That is a California thing that needs to be addressed. Off top.
Yeah, that's crazy because people losing their lives on the road just because you're giving people who are not qualified to be on the road in the first place.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Off top. And I can't get around it. You can't speak English. What happens? I mean, let alone something really terrible happens.
Yeah.
What happens how many get over or something and you need some help and you can't speak English? English is the first language in the United States. I don't know why people get that backwards.
Yeah.
You ain't not. If I go to Mexico, what language am I charged to learn? If I go to Arabia, what language am I charged to learn? The first language of that country. So if I'm in the United States, well, what is the first language of the United States? English.
That's
now,
crazy.
I ain't mad at people who know how to, who use English as a second language. I'm not mad at that, but daggone it, don't be out here in an 18-wheeler going down the wrong side of the road and can't speak English.
Right. And can't speak the language, because if you can't speak the language, you don't know what the signs mean.
I'm saying you don't know. You don't know, man.
You putting everybody's life in danger because you're giving unqualified people CDLs.
Right. And we know it take a lot of work to get those CDLs, man. You know, I would have to question, is his CDL even real? You know, I mean, when you become a United States citizen, you have to take certain exams.
That's how we know, Gold P. You got people just giving these people these licenses because if you don't understand the language, you don't comprehend everything on the road. So if you can't comprehend, you're not qualified. But see, you got people in Cali right now who are looking for jobs and can't get them. They didn't gave thousands of illegals CDLs and other jobs. You remember they went to that Costco. That Costco was full of illegals, like hundreds of them in there. And you got people right now in Cali who are in desperate need of a job. And it's like, bro, so you're going to take their food stamps. Okay. But then they said, well, go get a job. Well, shit, in Cali, it ain't that easy for people to just go get a job in certain places. They giving a lot of these jobs to illegals.
Hey, aren't we in a shutdown currently?
Yeah.
What you mean? We're in a shutdown currently. And aren't we talking about SNAP not being provided for next month? What are we talking about here? Just, come on.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? I'm saying, man, and this is not only relegated to California, we do know that this is going on in a number of states. People are given not only licenses, but they're given certain type of jobs to people that, you know, under the guise of just keep it under the table. Now, but yet people get mad when we address it. We address that. Hey, Red, look, down in Dago, I told you before, down in Dago, they was downtown protesting. Latinos was down there protesting. Can you go? I'm just asking you, Supreme. We're going to keep it Supreme. All right? We're going to keep it Supreme. Can you go over there to Mexico and throw your flag up and protest? Can you do that? Protest about how come the fruit ain't tasting swell as it is in the United States. Can you do that, bro?
Man, they gonna go. The Mexican police gonna go upside your head so fast you ain't gonna never think about doing that again. Man,
off top, man. They gonna look at you sideways and say, if you don't get out of here, if you don't get out of here.
yeah, hey, them Mexican, the police in Mexico don't play that. You can't do all that protesting over there.
You ain't doing that over there. Look, I've been over there a number of times. They stand outside with their M16s in certain areas, man, on a regular basis.
Yeah, they ain't gonna play with you over there.
Off top. Look, man, we've been over there to Mexico, Rosarito, and further and all that. We've been over there. If you're in Cali, people, okay, if you don't live in Cali, then you probably don't know.
Right.
Okay, so let me bring some clarity. Where San Diego is next door to Mexico, San Ysidro. You go right over there to San Ysidro and you cross right over the border. You go over the border and you can head right over there to San Ysidro, Rosarito. Many people go to Rosarito, right? That's the beach. Rosarito is the beach where everybody go over there and parlay, have parties and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's Rosarito. And you can go further down or whatever have you. But the point is right next door. Okay. You can't go right across the border over there carrying your flag, protesting. Why didn't you let me in the border fast enough? Why didn't you let me over here? They're gonna tell you, why you come over here then? You don't need to come over here to protest. They're gonna tell you that. Oh, Tijuana is right there. Tijuana and further down. It's all that's right there.
Yep, literally right there. Shit,
Right there. Yes, sir.
Man, you can throw a rock in Mexico when you
Right,
out there. Shit.
Right. Yeah, you can go right over there and come right back. It's not a thing, but at least you're legal. We doing it the right way when we go over there, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, they don't play with you over there. You better have everything straight over there. They ain't gonna play with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They ain't gonna play with you, or you ain't coming over.
Right.
But here we are witnessing in real time this cat driving down the wrong side of the freeway in a semi truck. Can you imagine that, Red Man? In a liner truck, a big liner truck, 18-wheeler truck, going down the wrong way on. Now, we seen a lot of things out here in Cali, right, Red? We seen a number of things out here, especially when it comes to that traffic. Either you coming into LA or you going to the Bay. That freeway, Sacramento freeway. We know about that, right? We've seen all that. But to see somebody coming down, nobody American is coming down the wrong way like that in an 18-wheeler. I can't recall that. Can you recall?
Man, you got drunk drivers in Cali who ain't dumb enough to do that.
Right. That's my point. You don't see that. You don't see that, man. Not even those who are legal citizens here, in general, have done that. And they can speak English to some degree, but this cat right here can't speak no English, talking about what Steins is it? And then I know that law enforcement officer was like, why am I talking to you? Off top. Hey, Red, Scoop is asking for the link, man.
Okay, I'm gonna drop it for Scoop.
He's asking for the link.
Scoop got a CDL, man. Scoop already know. So
Already. Look.
Yeah.
I know a lot of cats with CDLs. It's not a simple thing. Look, especially if you move in hazardous way, you got to get your hazmat. You got to pass the written tests. You got to go. There's a significant amount of time you got to do. to get that license, man. Oh, that's just what it is. Off top, man.
Yeah,
So
man. They it's like, hey, you don't speak no English, you can't drive. Never mind. Come on, we'll give you a license.
Red, what if you was that law enforcement officer that pulled this dude over, man? Would you I think that law enforcement officer was nice.
Yeah, he was. He was pretty damn nice to him.
He was nice. Do you think you would have been that nice, man?
Hell no.
What's happening, Scoop? What's good, my guy? What's happening? Shout out to you, brother.
You got it, Scoop.
For sure. Salute to you, Red. Salute Gold P, man, my brother, right down the street. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Salute
sir.
to the chat. You know what I mean? Hey, man, you know, that's a slap in the face to me, man. I'm CDL certified. You see what I'm saying? I had to struggle to get mine. You know what I'm saying? I went. See, a lot of people don't know what it takes to get a CDL. First of all, let me explain something. First, you need a permit. You got to have a permit to step on any yard to even drive a truck. You need a permit. Your CDL is going to replace your Class C. You don't even need that no more. Once you get your CDLs, you drive with your CDLs. Your CDLs is what we like to call ghetto gold. That CDL gonna take you places that you ain't never been able to go. That's gonna give you an opportunity to drive tractor trailers and heavy equipment and also buses, transit. That CDL is ghetto gold, so you guard that. That means everything is on the line with that CDL. Drunk driving, CDL gone. You ain't got to be in the truck. You can be out to dinner with the wife and have a few drinks, come on your way home, get stopped, get popped, your CDL is gone. You'll never drive for nobody else again. Tear up a car, cause great bodily injury, cause an accident, your CDLs is gone. You'll never be able to drive for no company ever again. Nobody's going to insure you. First of all, starting out, there's 3 tests. One is called general knowledge. You need to score at least 80% on that test. It is a 50-question test. You need to get at least 40 of those questions right to be able to pass general knowledge. You have 3 chances to pass all 3 of these tests. The second one is combination, combos, doubles, singles, and triples. When you see those trailers and they look like train cars, those are doubles, triples, and singles is what they look like. To be able to pass that test, that is a 20-question test. 17 got to be right, at least 80%. Last, you have air brakes. That's an air brake. That is done in cab, inside tractor, with a basically somebody from a commercial DMV, because you can't just go to a regular DMV. You have to go to what's called a commercial DMV. The instructor is going to get in there with you, and he's going to do what's called an in-cab inspection, which is air brakes. You got to know your gauges. You got to know everything in there, your fire extinguishers, where they're located. You got to name all of that. Everything. You got to know what the air brakes need to be up to. You got to shift. You got to show them that you know how to shift. You know how to clutch. You know how to do all of that. In other words, when it's not like the same as a car. You know what I'm saying? When you clutch and you pull, let's say you're going from 4th to 5th. Everything is clutch in, shift to 5th. You want to go to 6th, you go in neutral, clutch in, go into 6th. There's a switch on there once you get to 6th to go to 7th and the rest of your gears. These are things that you have to know. That's just how important it is. An air brakes test is 25 questions. You must get at least 20 of those questions right to at least get an 80%. Now, this is what you have to have on all 3 tests. All these 3 tests have to be at least 80% to pass. That's just to get your permit to step on the yard, just to do your training, what's called your skills test. That means you're going to be driving trucks, basically tractor trailer, in and out of cones. You tap a cone, that's not a violation at the DMV, but you knock over a cone, that is a violation. You can get away with barely tapping a cone, but you have to know how to move your truck and move your tractor. You're going to pass all those skills tests. Once you get those skills tests, whatever company or school you're going to, is going to set you up with an appointment, which is what's called the commercial DMV, for a day to get your CDLs. Pretty much everything you've done on the yard, you're going to have to do there. You're going to have to do what they call an inspection. That's the first thing you always do with your truck, is an inspection from front to back. Now, depending on the instructor, he may just have you do the trailer, inspect the trailer, and he do the in-cab, which is the air brakes. After that, it's road time. It's time for you to get your butt on the road and show him that you know how to handle that tractor trailer. So now he's going to take you all through the city, the same thing you did when you was in the car to get your license. He'll take you all through the city and on the freeways. He's going to make sure that you know how to handle that trailer, that tractor, and that trailer before you even get your hands on a nice, crispy, shiny CDL. That's what you're going to leave with that day if you pass. If you run over a curb, you're automatically a fail. If you make a right turn and your back tires hit that curb and go over the edge of that curb, you're done. You're done. No CDLs for you. You only get so many chances to get your CDLs. That's why they put you through that. So I don't understand how I went through the training to get my CDLs, and this government just handing out CDLs to people just because of their nationality. Because if that's the case, they didn't hand no CDLs to my black behind. They told me I had to take the test. I had to do the training. I had to have because you have to have so many class hours in, period. I had to get all your paperwork, and every bit of training that you get goes to that commercial DMV. They got to see all of that before they even let you touch a truck. They don't care if you got a permit. All your paperwork ain't in, because I know when I went there the first time, all my paperwork wasn't in. The school had to send them all my paperwork. You know what they did? They denied me. They told me I had to leave. Done deal. You can't get nothing here today, partner. All your paperwork is in. We got to make sure you got all your class hours, all your training, everything before you can get even in a truck here. The school provided me with a truck. So it wasn't like I didn't have a truck. The truck was there ready for me to get in, to get my CDLs, but they said, nope, not until that paperwork is in. So the DMV is going to do their due diligence to make sure you are properly trained. These people, I guarantee, ain't touched the yard. I guarantee they ain't did no type of training. I guarantee they did no classes. They did none of that. But they put these people on the road, and as Red said, putting everybody's life in danger. These are the politicians and people, you Democrats shields, you people, you coons, that cape for them people. That's your family in danger. Imagine you sitting at work and someone give you a call and your family been wiped out by one of these people. Taken straight off the map. And they gave them a license? Man, get the hell out of here with that.
I got a question for you, Scoop.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Here's my question, brother. I don't have a CDL license, and perhaps many of us don't have a CDL. I don't know if King Supreme got a CDL license. I don't know. We don't know. Okay, I don't have one. But my question to you is: should I be driving down the wrong side of the street in an 18-wheeler and don't know how to speak English? Should I be?
Hell no! How you gonna read the sign? Everything on course on the road is in English in America. Period. You need to know about school zones, what you should be going, what your RPM should be. How do they read all of that if they can't speak, read, or write English? So you put these people on the road? This is the result of that. And guaranteed, Gold P, it's going to happen more and more, because it's going to get exposed how many people got CDLs that did not do no training and don't know what they do, and they just stuck them in there and say, get this load from point A to point B. So next time you in front of a truck or buy a truck and you look up and you see one of them don't look like they know English, you better get off the freeway and let them go. You better get the hell away from them, because a truck ain't nothing to play with, man. It ain't. That is a heavy piece of machinery. And this is what I've been told by companies. Several companies have this policy. If you get in an accident and you can't avoid that accident, don't tear up our truck. We'll write the check. Research, because I'm not lying. They say hit them. If you kill them, don't worry, we write the check out. They're more worried about their business and their trucks than they're worried about your lives. And now you got politicians giving them CDLs because why? Because they feel bad for them? Because they over here, they want to give them an opportunity. America is a nation of immigrants. Really? Since when? I love to hear that lie. America's a nation of immigrants. No, America's a nation of people who come and illegally bring their butt here. That's why we got so many. Because if you roll back time about 60 years ago, where was all these nations of immigrants? They came for freebies. Freebies meaning one, a CDL that's gonna get handed to you. Hey, you know how to drive that truck? No, me no. Okay, that means you do. Get in there and take this load from point A to point B. I went through extensive training. It takes at least, you can get a CDLs in about 45 days. If you going every day to school, you training and you on point and you pass your test immediately. Most of it take you maybe about 2 months and you'll be trained and be on the road. I know because it took me. Matter of fact, it took me long. It took me over a year because I fell and broke my leg. It wasn't at the yard. It was something else. So I had to recover. And once I came back, I got finished with my training. But I know good and damn well what it takes to get a CDL. And I know good and damn well what they're going to make you do on that yard. You're not going to no DMV until they feel you're ready. And like I said, it's always a commercial DMV, not a regular DMV. My commercial DMV was in Fontana, California. That's where I went and got my CDLs.
Hey, King Supreme, Red Supreme. Hey, Black Samurai is in the back.
Yeah, but I gotta wrap this thing up, brothers. I wanted to extend it, but yeah, I'm kind of past my limit, man. So I'm gotta wrap this thing up. So I'm gonna let you guys give your
I'll go first and then let Scoop because I mean, Scoop got that fire. So I'm just a smoldering little burn, man. I'm a lighter, man, but Scoop is Scoop got the full torch, man. He ready to drop it off in the Olympic plate, So I'm just saying, hey, man, keep winning. You brothers keep winning. King Supreme, keep winning, brother. Hey, everybody in the chat, keep winning.
Shout out to you, Goldie.
Man. Hey, keep winning. Hey, at some point, I would love to do an interview with you, King Supreme, my guy.
Yeah. We can do that this week. Just you got my Gmail?
No, I don't have that. Put it in the back chat.
All right, I put it in.
And then I can also send you stuff too. And but I like to do an interview. And for the record, I don't set nobody up for failure, especially brothers. No, I don't rock like that, man. That's not my get down. So, I think it'll be a great interview. And I like to interview people who are productive, man, and give them a place to speak. Not that you don't have one here, but
it's always good. It's always good to go other places, man. So I appreciate that.
Hey, the world is bigger than your neighborhood. That is my saying off top. The world is bigger than your neighborhood. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to you, Scoop, for that fire cup. Drop the torch, brother. Go on, put the torch in the Olympic plate. You're a winner, my guy. Keep winning. All right, peace. I'm gone.
All right. Shout out to you, brother Bastion, man. He said salute from West Australia by the way of East Oakland. When I tried to get my license back in 03 and 04, they had some Mexican under my name with a license. Them MFers been playing a dirty game for years. Shout out to you, my bro. Shout out to you. Yeah, that's crazy right there. That's some bad work right there. Let me see. Yeah, shout out to Gold P. Scoop, you wanna land, brother?
Yeah, I close it out, Red. Yeah, like I said, man. It's a whole lot of funny business going on with these politics, these politicians, these mayors, these governors. You know what I'm saying? This is what we be trying to stress to certain generations of our people who continue to stay on the plantation. Show them, look at what they doing to us. Look at how we being treated. You know how many black families that a CDLs would have helped? You know how many black families that would have helped get out of poverty if you wanted to give something to somebody? Not that I'm advocating for giving license away, but if you gonna do it, why wasn't we the first on the menu? Why are we always at the bottom? Why is it always no? That's the way we gonna get treated. So then how come my people ain't telling everybody else when they need something? No. Because that's exactly what they tell us. Come on, people. We gotta be. We gotta change that. Uh, 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 Reactive to proactive. We gotta stop waiting for these people to do us dirty before we open our eyes and see what they doing to us. We gotta stop responding, and we gotta start taking it to them. We gotta start standing on our square, standing on our ground. Because just like I said, what if that was your family? One of them wiped out. They ain't doing nothing. A brother can't even walk out of a grocery store or a liquor store or a business without being harassed, without telling him to put his hands up, without being told you look like somebody we looking for. But they giving CDLs to people who can wind up taking more people's lives, and ain't no pushback. We a small minority of a community that's keeping it 100. We got so many of us that's falling for that plantation mentality. No, the Democrats, what have the Republicans ever done for us? Well, they know we need to vote for them because Trump is a monster. And if you get Trump in office, Trump is going to put us back in slavery. It's that ignorance right there that's the problem. So I don't care if you got to go with grandma, if you got to go with your mama, if you got to go with cousins, aunties, all of them. That message need to get out. What Red is speaking over here is facts and truth that need to be heard. Facts and truth that our people need to wake up, man. That wake up call got to come, man. Ain't y'all tired of this? Because I know I am. I'm 56 years dealing with this, man. I'm tired of that. Something got to change, folks. Stop putting these people in office that has showed they butt to us because you fear the Republicans, or you fear another party. So we ain't got to do nothing to make them people's life good. Period. CDLs being given away, man, that is a slap in the face to what I had to go through to get mine. You giving them away. So that's your loved ones that's out there. That's your loved ones that could be the next victim. And what they gonna do about it? They can't bring your loved ones back. They ain't even gonna do nothing to compensate you. You just on your own, charge it to the game. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is. Ain't nothing we can do. They don't care about us. And as soon as we wake up and start being proactive instead of reacting and feeding off the fact that we know they don't give a damn about us, and they know they don't have our best interest, and know they're gonna screw us anyway they can, shape and form, then maybe these buffoons will wake up and start putting foot to behind, boots to ground, and maybe then we can get something done. Until then, I'm out, Red.
All right, shout out to Scoop, man. Man, this is crazy. Ms. Red, you got something to add that you want to add to this conversation about the illegals, the jobs, and the anti-blackness, whatever you want to give your spill on? You got the flow.
Hi, chat. Salute everyone. Salute to the panel, if anyone's still on the panel. Salute to everyone that supports the channel and supports the rules of the channel. I guess what I want to say is I kind of have a little bit of a different perspective. And before anybody tries to write anything crazy in the chat, yes, Miss Red Supreme, sending at 5'5", has a CDL out of Texas. Now keep it pushing. So, what I wanted to add to that is just a different perspective. Now, we have to understand the dynamics of how they are obtaining these CDLs. So their CDLs, some of them are real. Well, a lot of them are real. Let's put it there. However, they're making them real is the problem. And what I mean by that is the tests are done in English. The placards on the rigs are in English. Any directions and anything that you need to follow, if it says, um, they have to read it. It's in English. And so I don't know if anybody pays attention, but if you order Uber Eats, for those of in California probably know more about this. When they come up and the person that's bringing you your food, they do not know English, do they? They're coming up to you, their GPS is getting them there, navigating them there, and it's in Spanish. So a lot of what I feel of what they're doing is, and I'm just going to be honest, I mean, it may be a different perspective. Some people may agree, some people may not agree. What I feel is, I think the cartel is involved. I'm going to just say it. So it's another way for them to be able to run their drugs or their illegal activities from Mexico into the United States of America. It's just another avenue. And what I mean is they have whomever in these DMVs issuing out these CDLs. Because you mean to tell me they sat there and took that test and the test is in English? And then like you showed one guy, all he knew was Mandarin. That means he's Asian. The other guy only knows Spanish. And so I also wanted to bring up the accident that happened in Texas with the Somalian and how he obtained his CDL. See, we know where the Somalians are located and all the refugees. We know what state they're coming out of. They are also assisting them, just like they assist the Mexicans or those from South America. They're assisting them as well. There's a Somalian man who opened up a CDL school. They don't have other people coming into that school. They recruit their people and their family members wherever from Somalia, and they bring them in. And they're so-called getting that training, right? But they're really not getting this training. So who's taking these tests for them? Either somebody sitting there taking the test for them, which I doubt, or they have a contact at DMVs that are pushing this stuff through. And I believe they have contacts at these DMVs and they're paying them out of pocket, for the Somalians, and with the Mexicans, I feel it's cartel affiliated. Why else would the Department of Transportation seize the entire state, all of the DMVs within California, all of them? Now everybody has to come back in. Guys, if you're expecting if your license is about to be expired, go ahead and expect that email that's telling you to come in and retake the knowledge test. They're retesting everybody. So I just wanted to say that, but this is what's going on. It's a little deeper than them just getting these CDLs, because the Department of Transportation is saying these CDLs were actually issued by the California DMV. And they also stated that there is a shortage. They made a PSA about how I think it's over 60,000 drivers that they've taken away their CDLs literally overnight. So these jobs are about to be out here for those who want to get their CDLs. And another way to get into getting your CDL, go work for some of these little bus companies, MTS, out here in San Diego, MV Transportation, um, or wherever you may be for whatever company is contracted to do the bus services wherever you are locally. I did it. It was easy money for me. And all you do is All you really have to do is just stick with it, get those endorsements, rack them up on your CDL, and I mean, you'll always be able to find work, hopefully, if they aren't taking those from, those jobs from Americans in that way either, as well. So that's just my 2 cents.
Oh, okay. Well, excuse me. Well, we've been up here long enough, people. I appreciate everybody that pulled up to speak. And we're going to close this thing down, man. Shout out to everybody for supporting the show. We want to shout out to Bastion again. He just sent another super chat. Shout out to you, brother. He said these Indians is running a CDL scam here in Australia. They might not be illegal, but they can't drive them trucks. Somebody be passing these people. Yeah, man, because it's like clearly they're not qualified to drive. Somebody that's working somebody working at the DMV is just giving these people licenses because clearly they ain't qualified to be on the road, man.
Right, it's an inside job.
Yeah, definitely. It's most definitely an inside job. Well, I forgot how many illegals they said they gave licenses to. I don't remember the
It's
number.
like, if I'm not mistaken, it's over like 60,000 total over the
Yeah.
United States. And a lot of them came out of California. Most
Yes.
of them, I think they said.
Yeah, they did. Most of them came from Cali. So when we be telling you people, man, these illegals, man, get these jobs, man, we ain't lying. And like with the food stamp thing, it's like, I get it. But at the same time, you're telling people to get jobs, but we all know a lot of these illegals are getting these jobs. So it's not easy for some people to just go out there and get a job.
Right, right. And they're taking, out here in California, we all know they push anyone black to the back. So you're not allowed to get jobs. I don't care where you are. If you're in healthcare, I've been in healthcare. Now all of a sudden, what was it, around 2023, all you would see is bilingual only. And then I guess people start trying to sue them. So they would say like, oh, they try and change the language up a little bit, but we already know what that means. And if you are in, those fields, and then what they'll do is if you want to move up, they'll stop you from moving up. And a friend of mine had worked with a hospital company for a while. So she was qualified for the job. And except for the person that was over her said, well, speak Spanish. He was giving her you got to speak Spanish on the spot in order for you to get this job. So although she had been there longer than him, she wasn't able to move up. So they're stopping people from progressing. So even if they're not stopping you from getting the job from jump, if you are already in those spaces, they're stopping you from progressing within the company.
Yeah. Well, what we're gonna do, you guys, we're gonna close this thing down, man. I'm getting ready to chill, enjoy the rest of my day. Hopefully, you guys can enjoy the rest of your day, man. Peace to everybody. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. Tell everybody we over here on King Supreme. So we got to get the numbers up over here. And make sure that you guys bless that like button, man. Get the likes up. That's very important that you do so. And hype the video too, because now they got the thing where you can hype the video. You watch my live streams, get in there and watch the streams. Hype the video, man. And we're going to continue to push forward. I appreciate everybody for tapping in with me today. I got to get up out of here, you guys. Blessings to everybody.